Now, away from that, after this, we'll turn our attention to how military intervention in Niger will affect education, yes, in the West African region, with the president of West African Law Student Association, Nasiru Sanusi. Promises to be quite an engaging conversation, from the military to, of course, education to engagements across board and political ties. Thank you for staying with us. This time we're still talking about the military subject of intervention in Niger and how this will affect education in West African countries. And we have the president of West African Law Student Association, Nasiru Sanusi. It's good to have you on the show.
Good morning.
Good morning. So let's first get your take on what's happening in Niger first, as a Nigerian.
Okay. Good morning, Nigerians and fellow Africans. Thank you for inviting us to speak on this important issue. I'm not going to mince my words. Military takeover can never be justified. It is illegitimate, and we are not in support of military intervention in governance. And also, we are not supporting constitutional coup. Apart from military coup, there is also constitutional coup, which means changing or capturing power through unconventional means. So we condemn it in totality.
All right. So in terms of the reason why you condemn it, what could be the causal effects if it's not attested?
Military intervention in governance is an indication of democratic deficits, which in turn works against foreign direct investment, economic growth of that particular country, and also it establishes dictatorship. Once military assume power, the first thing they do is to suspend constitution of that particular country and the parliament of that particular country, which in extension they are suspending or violate the fundamental right of the citizen of that particular country. And it exposes the country to imminent security threat, and it exposes the country to massive poverty because of the sanction that will be imposed by the international community. These are some of the reasons why we are against unconstitutional changes of government. Let me say it the way it is. I'm not only against unconstitutional military intervention in governance. We are also condemning manipulation of constitution to extend tenure of the Democrat. This also contributes to the military takeover. Once your tenure ends, you have to relinquish power. That also is one of the factors that contribute or that motivate military to take powers.
Okay, so let's look at the issue on education. Right now, between West Africa and Central Africa, there are over 57 million children and adolescents barred from going to school. And that's about 24.1% of the 226 million children out of school worldwide. And there is a quote by Maureen DJ, who is the lead regional director for Norwegian Refugee Council. She said, every child out of school every day is learning lost, is one brick fewer, and peace and prosperity in the region is threatened even more so. Now, I hear you say you're not just against military coup, you're also against constitutional coup. How directly can this affect education if it's allowed to happen?
It has a negative effect on education. Once military took over power, the first thing, it disrupts the learning process, which in extension violates the right of student to education. It exposes the student to imminent threats of insecurity and feeling of uncertainty, because they don't know what tomorrow will be, because there will be sanction, maybe there will be ECOWAS or AU intervention. And also, it exposes the foreign student in that particular country to a situation whereby they don't have option than to abandon their education, because they have to run away. They will not leave, because now all the foreign students in Niger, they have to run. They have to run. And also, because of the economic situation, most of the students will find it difficult even to access the education. And also, the student of that particular country will not have an access to further their education in developed country because of the visa restriction put on them, put on that particular country. So these are some of the negative effects, and they will not get also like a fund, sponsorship from foreign countries because of the suspension put on that particular country. So these are some of the negative effects of military intervention or military regime on education. It exposes the student to imminent danger of insecurity and the feeling of uncertainty, and they will not be able to go to the foreign country to further their education because of the visa restriction.
Okay, now in over 8 countries, the closure of schools has spiked. It has increased. I think there are about 12,400 schools that have closed down since. Looking at crises in countries like Burkina Faso, you have Mali, you also have now currently Niger, more than half the children, are unable to access school walls. And of course, we see the closure of schools in some of our northeast, states, northeastern states, where schools are no longer open, children can access schools. Now, when you're thinking ECOWAS, you're thinking about intervention. I hear you say you don't admit any, coup agenda, whether it's constitutional or military. What should be the focus? How do they